YouTube, it's FordNeck2156 here. I haven't been doing a video just because I've been busy. I'm doing this video on how to dip long cut. There's a lot of videos out there where people are dipping, but they don't explain how to dip it. Uh, I've been dipping long cut for as long as I can remember, ever since I was 13. Uh, the key is, depending on what brand you get, their long cuts are all different. Because some long cuts are a little bit finer long cut. Then you have mild long cut. Then you have long cut that's extremely long, almost more like your rough cut. Uh, First, I'll be dipping with the Longhorn long cut wintergreen. A lot of people dip Grizzly and Copenhagen. I like those two also, but this is what's cheap and this is what I can afford. I do like Longhorn. Uh, I shouldn't have cut my nail. First of all, depending on how you crack your cans, I mean, there's different ways of doing it. I used to have like a little tool that I used, but you can do it either way. I'm doing it by nail right now. And it's not really performing well because I just clipped my nails. Did that do it for me? Once I get popped, I can just tear it off that way. I do not recommend doing that because you tear up the can. Alright. Yeah, whatever. I save the cans anyway. And for the first time, I always pack them that way. It doesn't really matter. Longhorn is more of a finer long cut versus a Grizzly long cut, which is a mild long cut. This is what a finer long cut looks like. It's just like this is what a minor or a finer long cut looks like. A real long cut would be a lot more chunk, say like the Grizzly long cut or the Copenhagen long cut are a lot longer cuts. But to do with the, in my opinion, and I've dipped a whole variety of them. Grizzly long cut, Copenhagen long cut, Skull long cut. And I believe I even have a can here of Skull, not Skull, Wolf long cut, Timber Wolf. There's multiple ways of dipping it. A lot of YouTubers who you'll see that dip usually try to choose long cut over, say, for instance, pouches. And that's one of my pet peeves. I had this can from a friend of mine. Pouches, they're good. There's about 15 in a can for pouches. Looks similar. The only difference is that the lid on that can of pouches, actually, I got the same cans here. So this is the can on the long cut. This is the can on the pouches. You see how it has that little capper that you can take off. Pouches, I don't know why they put them on there unless you want the juices to run off. Little novelty item there to add to my tower there. But long cut, this video is going to be talking about the long cut. And I know I had a video on there where I quit smoking for 7 weeks. I'm still going through that. I haven't had anything to report on there, so just hold up on those. But long cut, to dip that, if it's a brand new can like this one is, I had to go get this one today. Like people say, some people have dip police, as it's called, in their brains, where you only pack it 3 times and that's it. I don't understand it. I found out that dipping long cut, if it's a brand new can, it won't pack right with 3 packs. Or, I mean, you will have to literally pack it more than 3 times. So I always just sit there, pack it for a little while. Don't care how many times, still didn't pack right, and I've been packing this. Sometimes I even beat with my palm of my hand just to get it super packed. That didn't even pack. Like I said, I may even have to go side pack. Let's see. There we go. Much better. And the rest of it I can just pack with my finger. Alright. So the pinch that's already out of there, they call it the God's pinch. The dip God's pinch. It's because of mechanical pinch when they're filling the cans. So technically it's the mechanical dip God's pinch. Dipping long cut, fine cut, medium cut, long cut, it's about the same process. What you do, and I found this the easier way, is where that God took his pinch, take your pointer finger, stick it into one of the side panels of that, take your thumb, put it at the bottom of the, hold on, I'm not used to filming this thing, so hold on. Alright, get in focus, thank you. Put it right in there, take your thumb, put it, oh, whatever, I'll just explain it. You take it, put it underneath, and then push it to the side of the can like you would fine cut. Then what you'll come up with is a nice little If your dip is too dry, you'll have the problem like I was having. But if your dip is just the right moisture content, that's why I always say your newer cans, add 2 drops of water to it just to get it a little moister. But like I said again, that depends on your dip. Grizzly long cuts will usually be a little bit moister. Your Longhorn will be a little drier. Copenhagen will be about between the two. Grizzly will pack almost instant. So that 3-pack rule might apply to that, depending on your dip, if it's a longer cut, finer cut, long cut. And the cuts of long cut that I'm talking about is not all different cuts. Long cut comes in one cut, which is long cut. In the can of that long cut, you might have it more like a fine cut long cut, which means the particle of tobacco is small, smaller cut than a regular. And a medium cut would be a little bit bigger, but not fully long cut. Actually, it would be your normal long cut, which is bigger particles, which actually I can show you now. That right there is probably a fine to a medium fine long cut. A real thick long cut will be looking like you're just dipping on leaves. Basically, thicker, not as cut up. It's more like a rough cut, but it's still considered as a long cut. You have fine cut, which is a whole different brand. It's more of a real fine, like almost a coffee grind. which you can make long cut into a coffee grind version by just grinding it in a spice grinder. I don't know why you would want to do that. That ruins your dip. But I get it. Some people like that. But like I said, dip long cut. If you've dipped Grizzly or Copenhagen or Longhorn, any of those brands, and your gum burns like hell down here on the bottom, try another position like upper, upper, or over here. Mine is desensitized here because I dip so much. But when I first started, I was dipping on my upper, and that burned like hell. Just find the spot where you're not sensitive at. It really depends on the person, and it also depends on where your sensitivity in your jaw is or your mouth is. And dipping long cut versus, say, dipping pouches. Good explanation because I do have pouches. I have dipped maybe 2, but I'm known on this channel for dipping long cuts. Dipping pouches, I do not agree with just because the material that it's made out of. I don't have one here, but I do have the can. It's not, when you first get it, it's not moist. If you're a beginner, I do suggest pouches just so you can get used to something being here. But I do not recommend continuing to dip it. And I'll have it in a video where beginner dippers lesson there. I do recommend pouches for beginners because beginners don't really know if they want to continue to dip or not. So pouches will help you decide that, and depending on what dip you got. Like I said, some dippers, if say like you give them a can of Skull, like if you were one of their friends and you give them a Skull, say wintergreen, they won't dip that. Some people, because they are against Skull. Skull's actually pretty good. Not the best, but pretty good. The 4 dips that I do recommend is Grizzly, Copenhagen. If you can't afford those 2, go with Longhorn or Skull. Those are 4 that I do recommend. Longhorn is my go-to dip because it's cheap and it's efficient. If you get pouches, it's a little bit cheaper, probably 20 cents. A can of pouches is $1.29. A can of Longhorn, let me find that can real quick. There we go. Is $1.49, so about 20 cents difference, but they're still cheap. The difference between pouches versus long cut, like I said, is that you only get 15 pouches and they're pre-portioned pouches, which is different. Longhorn, you'll get a little bit fuller can, more portions out of your can depending on how much you dip. And if like you're going on a date and you really need a dip, get pouches so you don't have all the tobacco in your teeth. And get premium mint out of Grizzly or mint out of Copenhagen or even mint out of Longhorn. I haven't seen any Longhorn mint where I live for a couple of years now. But if you stick to the 4 simple rules of dipping, which is A, stay hydrated, B, always spit silently. I know it's hard for a lot of dippers, but like I'm dipping or I'm spitting into a mud jug, which by the way, check out the creator of mud jugs or YouTube. It's mudjug1.com or mudjug1 on YouTube, and their website is mudjug.com. Check them out. any dipper that spits into water bottles, because I've done it, stop it. Get a roadie and get a regular mud jug. I don't have my regular mud jug with me right now because somehow I lost that. Get a roadie. If you're a driver, set it in the cup holder. It fits in every cup holder. Even the regular one, set in a cup holder. It doesn't tip because it's weighted on the bottom. These fit into any size cup holder. And let me tell you, buy one of these and you'll save a whole lot of time and effort, and you don't need to drink so much water that you have to get a water bottle quickly in order to spit. Get one of these. I know it's a little bit pricier, but it's worth it. And then you get, like, I think on their website right now, or they've had it for a while, is where if you buy one of their regular mud jugs, you can opt for a free roadie or another mud jug, or donate to the army. When I bought my mud jug, my first mud jug, which was the Billy Bass Camo mud jug, I donated to the army, which, like I said, go check his channel out. It's Mud Jug 1 on YouTube, and shout outs to them. I love their product, and I'll keep on using their product because they're American made, and these suckers will last a long time. This is the Blue Lives Matter. I don't know if they still have that up on their website or not. But I do know that they have some outlaw dipper mud jugs on there. They have a lot of other mud jugs that are really good. They have one for almost everybody, females to males. They have pretty much a whole lot of different varieties. If you buy the sets, they come with a topper for your can, which is really interesting. I don't have mine because I lost it. I think on a dip can that one of my friends borrowed so he could dip while he was on a date. But like I said, check them out. It's Mudjug 1 on YouTube, and it's mudjug.com for their website. Check them out. They are one of my favorite companies. Actually, they are the company of dip jugs. If you look online, say on Amazon, and find, Spit Buddy or Spittoon or something like that, those are cheaply made. They're made in China. These are made in the US. They're just a piece of crap. Do not waste your money on that. I was fixing to grab a water bottle that I had, which is made by Nalgene. It's a Filter for Good green water bottle. I use that as a spittoon sometimes, but definitely check them out. Mudjug.com or Mudjug1 on YouTube. Check them out. They're really good. And since y'all know me as more of a smoker and that, secondary ashtray. Really good. They pay for themselves. Trust me, you don't want to be going around, say like in your house, and just spitting into a water jug because sometimes you'll miss. This is a necessary thing for dippers. If you're under the age and you shouldn't be dipping and your parents don't know you dip, do not dip. If you spit into a water bottle and your parents are okay with you dipping, ask them if they could get you something better. Say a mud jug. But that's only if your parents are okay with you dipping. My parents, they aren't so happy that I dip, but I do, and they're fine with that for the most part. But, like I said, check them out. Mudjug 1 on YouTube. It's Mudjug1 on YouTube. Check them out. They're really good. And since y'all know me as more of a smoker and that, but And on second note, dipping long cut, there's a rule that I go by. Less is more when you're dipping. So your very first dip shouldn't be the size of your, shouldn't be that big. And right now I'm getting a phone call, which I'll ignore for real quick. So if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you don't, if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. If you want to, keep on smiling, and I got to end this because I'm getting a phone call. I love y'all. Keep on smiling. I'll see you on the next video.